Weldon Johnson was born in 1871 in Jacksonville, Florida. James was a civil activist, a writer, an educator, a composer. He was a politician and a lawyer. He was also one of the leading figures in the creation and development of the Harlem Renaissance, and was the son of a free-born Virginian father and a Bahamian mother, and was raised without a sense of limitations amid society focused on segregating African Americans. After graduating from Atlanta University, Johnson was hired as a principal in grammar school. His published works include the autobiography of Ex-Colored Man and God's Trombones. While serving in this position, in 1895 he founded the Daily American newspaper. In 1897, Johnson became the first African American to pass the bar exam in Florida. Not long after, in the 1900s, James and his brother John wrote the song "Lift Every Voice and Sing," which would later become the official anthem of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Johnson then moved to New York and studied literature at Columbia University, where he met other African American artists. How would you have us as we are, or sinking neath the load we bear, our eyes fixed forward on a star, or gazing empty at despair, rising or falling, men are themes, with dragging pace our footsteps fleet. Strong willing sinews in your reins, or tightening chains about your feet. The Harlem Renaissance was a culturally significant era in African American history. It helped African American writers and artists gain control over the representation of Black culture and experience, and it helped with the place in the Western high culture. Flowering of the movement as its participants celebrated their African heritage and embraced self-expression, rejecting long-standing and often degrading stereotypes. Lastly, roughly from the 1910s through the mid-1930s, the period is considered a golden age in African American culture, manifesting in literature, music, stage performance, and art. His pioneering studies of Black poetry, music, and theater in the 1920s introduced many white Americans to the rich African American creative spirit, known mainly through the distortions of the minstrel show and dialect poetry. Meanwhile, as the head of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, during the 1920s, Johnson led determined civil rights campaigns in an effort to remove the legal, political, and social obstacles hindering Black achievement. In 1920, he became the first Black executive secretary of NAACP, serving until 1930. Eternities before the firstborn day, or ere the first sun fledged his wings of flame, calm night, the everlasting and the same, and brooding mother over chaos lay, and whirling suns shall blaze and then decay, shall run their fiery courses and then climb the haven of the darkness whence they came. Back to nirvanic peace shall grope their way. So when my feeble sun of life burns out, and sounded is the hour for my long sleep, I shall, full weary of feverish light, welcome to the darkness without fear or doubt, and heavy-lidden I shall softly creep. into the quiet bosom of night.
Since I've